Hi there, Elizabeth Hines here from the Autoimmune Free Cooking Club, formerly Our Paleo Family. And today we are making orange chicken in the Instant Pot slow cooker. You can use your regular slow cooker, or if you have gotten rid of some appliances in lieu of this multi-cooker, 7-in-1, 9-in-1, there are different versions. I believe I have the one that's called 7-in-1. But we really use pressure cook and we use slow cook. I guess saute is a third function. Those are the main ones that I use. So I'm doing the slow cook function today. You could absolutely do this with the pressure as well and be faster. So orange chicken. In my pot I have about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. You don't have to use sesame oil. You could use coconut oil, avocado oil, but the sesame adds a great flavor. And we're going for that Asian American favorite flavor. So I have my pot on saute more, so they have less, normal, and more. So more would be the equivalent of high. And I had about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast that I just cut into bite-sized pieces and toss that in. I'm going to go ahead and add all of my salt for this dish, which is, actually I'm not going to add all of it. I'm going to add the rest of it with the rest of my chicken. I didn't want to put all of that chicken in, so I'm going to do it in 2 batches. So that was 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a sprinkle of black pepper. And just give this a little stir, really to distribute the salt and pepper. Letting that brown for a minute. While I'm waiting for that to go, in case you have watched maybe an old video, maybe you just watched that very first pot roast video and you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Autoimmune Free Cooking Club instead of Our Paleo Family. So Our Paleo Family is sort of my umbrella business. That was the name of my blog for a number of years, and I've converted that kind of as my own health journey has progressed. I went back to school to become a functional medicine health coach. And as a part of that personal transformation, I turned the Our Paleo Family recipe blog into a membership community that incorporates all the recipes, everything that was there before, plus the health coaching. So we've just had our very first beta launch, and I have some members, and we meet once a week, and we chat, and we hold each other accountable. I answer their questions. There are a lot of questions about this functional medicine world. How do we do it? How do we make all these changes? And then the coaching comes in when we start talking about how do we make it permanent, because it's hard. It's hard to make these changes. And so, so far, so good. It's been really great. And so if you go to the website to try to find a recipe and it's telling you have to log in, that's because it is now membership only. And I'll be opening up again in January, so it's October now. We'll open up about quarterly, and you'll have a chance to join again. And there is a free membership where you have access to about 20 recipes that I kind of will rotate throughout the year. But the paid membership is where you get everything. Hundreds of recipes and that personal touch, the coaching and the community, the one-on-one time together where we really help you progress from where you are now to where you want to be. I'm going to continue to put out videos, hopefully once a week. I'm just not writing them up for you. They'll be written up for my members, but you just have to pay attention. I'm giving you the ideas, and hopefully you can go and you can create these yourselves. But if you really like the idea of a printout, then you join the next time I open up the membership, and it is not that expensive. And it's worth every penny. So that's what's going on with that. This recipe can either be done pressure or slow cook, just the way my life is right now. I'm having time kind of either in the morning or the middle of the day typically. I do work from home. I homeschool my children, so I don't have a 9 to 5 where I go away all day. I have a much more than 9 to 5 where I'm working in kind of bits and pieces throughout my day. And so I'm able to carve out some time. And it's just so happened that that evening time, I used to cook. I used to stop everything at 5 o'clock and start cooking dinner. I'm not available at that 5 o'clock hour a lot of times now. And so I've been using the slow cook function on my Instant Pot. And it works. It's just slower. You know, with a traditional crock pot, you have heat coming all the way around. And the crock pot I owned anyway was pretty hot. Like, I never used the high level. I always used the low or the keep warm. And they were way more than sufficient. The Instant Pot just has that heating element at the bottom. And yes, it is insulated, but the heat is really just coming from the bottom, and it's just not as hot. It's not as powerful in terms of the slow cooking. So like, I wouldn't put a big roast in there and put that on slow cook to go all day long. I don't think it would really get done the way you want it to be done. But so I use it more like almost keeping warm. So make a soup or a stew. Beef stew, it does great if you know your meat is cubed like this chicken is, and you start it in the morning. It'll be great by dinner time. The vegetables should be good as well. I make like my beef enchilada filling, the ground beef stroganoff, taco filling, things like that I'm mostly cooking them through this type of process. And then I just put the slow cook on, I put the slow cooker lid on and let it go, and then it's ready whenever we're ready to eat. If it's something like tacos, I can go ahead and shred my lettuce and chop my tomatoes, shred my cheese, have all that stuff ready, and it's in the fridge ready to go. Same thing with enchiladas, however you're going to serve those. We usually do that bowl style with either cauliflower rice, regular rice, roasted sweet potatoes, something like that. I may make those at dinner time. I may make them ahead of time. I'm just trying to help you kind of brainstorm ways to use your slow cooker function of your Instant Pot, because it's not quite the same as a regular slow cooker. Okay, so get a little browning on this chicken. I'm going to take it out, get the other chicken in. You may need to add a little bit more oil. I don't think I do. I'm just going to let it go. So in my recipe, I say 2 tablespoons of oil, and you can add all of it at the beginning, or you can split it if you're doing your meat in batches. So let me tell you a couple ways you can simplify this dish. Let me add the rest of my salt. So you can see here in front of me, I have fresh chicken, not fresh chicken, yes, I have fresh chicken. I have a fresh onion, I have fresh garlic, I have minced some, actually I didn't mince, I used that microfine grater, some fresh ginger, and then I juiced my own oranges, which were not black. I added my coconut aminos to that. I juiced my own oranges, and I zested my oranges. You could use onion powder, you could use garlic powder, you could use powdered ginger. You can buy orange zest actually in the spice aisle. I can't imagine that has a ton of flavor, knowing it's probably been sitting there for who knows how long. I maybe would just leave out the zest if you're going to use orange juice from the bottle. So you could make this super fast, just orange juice from the fridge, spices from your cupboard, or you can use the fresh if you like and if you have time. So there are certainly ways to simplify most recipes. I will link this in the description box below, but if you're going to use the slow cook function, you cannot use your pressure lid because it has to vent. So if you try to use slow cook and you set the regular pressure lid on top, it'll beep at you, and I think it flashes slow cook or something on the screen. It doesn't like that. So you do not have to buy this glass lid, although it's like $9 or $10. It's not expensive. I ordered it from Amazon, came the next day. This is actually the Instant Pot one, and it lets you just, like a regular slow cooker, you can take the lid off and stir things around. If you don't have that lid, or you don't want to spend the money, you can just put a piece of aluminum foil over the top and kind of crimp it around the edges. And I did that for a couple years before I bought that lid. So it works perfectly fine. It's just not as nice as taking the lid off and on. You gotta take it off, then crimp it back on every time. Not the end of the world. But the lid is a little bit easier and it's pretty affordable. Okay, so I hope you can see there's some browning in the bottom of my pan, bottom of my pot, which is really what I want. That's flavor. It smells really good, that browned meat smell. Okay, now I'm going to add my onion, my garlic. I'm just going to add all this, my onion, my garlic, my ginger, my orange zest. It's about a tablespoon of orange zest, a tablespoon of minced ginger. It's a little dry. I could add a little oil, but let me think about it. Whoops. About a tablespoon of sesame seeds. Yes, they have a little bit of nutritional content, but it's mainly for like that little bit of crunch. It looks pretty. I'm going to add just a teeny bit of oil. It's very dry. I ran out of sesame oil, so I added just a little bit of avocado. I would have probably added more sesame had I had that on hand. Now, can you see from the overhead camera, there's a lot of steam, all of that brown on the bottom? That's called fond. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but if you were going to do this recipe pressure cooked, you would need to make sure you definitely deglaze that, because your pot will probably not pressurize with that on the bottom. Because I use chicken breast, you could put this under high pressure for 10 to 12 minutes and it will be done. I usually do chicken thighs with an Oriental style meal, but I just had the white meat, so that's what we're having. Okay, I'm going to deglaze. And I'm adding my thickener to my liquid. So I want about 2 tablespoons of arrowroot. I'm just mixing that right in. This is the juice of 2 oranges, or about 1 cup total. The juice of a lemon. Sorry, the orange and the lemon together made about 1 cup. And 1/3 of a cup of coconut aminos, which is our Paleo soy sauce substitute. Just going to kind of scrape along the bottom. Let all that fond come up. Because 1, it's cleaning my pot, but 2, it's releasing all that flavor into my dish. So can I tell you my experience so far with my membership is that we all like to feel like we're normal. We're really pretty much all dealing with the same things. We might have different health conditions, but we're struggling with managing them in the same ways. It's hard to commit to these changes, these lifelong changes, and it's nice to have the support of others. And so that's a lot of the value of this membership. We're really supporting each other. We have a great group of people right now, and they're all super kind and really, I think, care about each other already, even though we've just met. It's a great group. You're going to want to be a part of it. Okay, so can you see, let me see if I can show you with this, with that arrowroot in there, this has that thick, sort of sweet, syrupy consistency that you're used to seeing with a Chinese dish. And there goes my chicken back in. And that's it. You could certainly, if you wanted to add some extra sweetness, you could add some honey to this. But the orange juice is sweet enough for us. And bonus, that makes this a recipe that is acceptable for a 21-day sugar detox, a whole 30. With my group, actually, we're doing a 7-day sugar detox, I guess. No sugar challenge. We're just going to let this go for 3 hours. And I do need it to be on more. So you always, when you switch from one function to the next, you have to turn your pot off and then turn on the other function. So I turned it off and then I turned on my slow cook function. There goes my lid. And it's just going to simmer away. I can't taste it yet because the chicken is not completely cooked. But that's it. You could let this go all day. So it's 2:30 now, or it's almost 3. So we only have a few hours until dinner time, so I put it on more. It's white meat chicken. We had sauteed it already. It will totally be done. If you needed to start this in the morning before you went to work, I would put it on the slow cook less function, so put it on low. If you were doing thighs, which take a little bit longer, you know, maybe do it on more or a normal if you have all day. So just kind of think about that. Do I have white meat? Do I have dark meat? Dark meat takes a little bit longer. And how much time do I have? And use your pot accordingly. I hope that makes sense. Please ask questions if you don't understand. I know a lot of people are frustrated with their Instant Pot, just in general. People are afraid of it, and people get frustrated with it because it's not doing what I think they're expecting it to do. So I think we have to have realistic expectations. But also we just need to know how to use it the way you need to use it for your life. So I'm happy to help you try to figure that out. All right, so we're gonna let this go and I'll show it to you at dinner time. Okay, fast forward 3 hours and our orange chicken is done. It is not the prettiest dish, you know, because it's not syrupy, fried. You know how, you know, in a Chinese restaurant, often the sesame chicken, orange chicken, that kind of stuff just looks so beautiful because it's been fried and it has this shiny sauce on it because of all the sugar that's in it. And so we have a much healthier version that tastes really better. I was going to say just as good, but no, it's better because we have real ingredients in here. Orange juice from real oranges and no added sugar, just the sugar from the oranges. And it's really enough. And with our white meat chicken, 3 hours on the highest setting of the slow cooker was perfectly fine. So I just want to show you how I'm going to put this together for, say, my kids. We had some rice stick noodles left over from a previous meal. One package, I've shown you those before in some other videos. It makes a ton, and especially because I don't usually eat it. I'll usually have cauliflower rice instead. And my husband will have kind of a mix of the two. One package is way more than we can eat in one meal, so I just freeze the rest. And they reheat perfectly fine. I added a little bit of water and just steamed them. Actually put a piece of foil over the top of this bowl and set it on the back of the stove while I had something baking in the oven, so the steam came up and steamed them. So we'll put some rice noodles in the bottom. This is actually the frozen Asian style vegetables with broccoli, snow peas, carrots, and water chestnuts. I love frozen vegetables. I mean, we buy a ton of fresh vegetables every week, and we eat them almost always. We eat them all. But frozen vegetables are so convenient because you can just have them in your freezer, and when you had planned something and then, oh, you know, that vegetable has gone bad, or you ran out before it's time to go back to the grocery store at the end of the week, you've got a bag of something in your freezer. And this is one of the things I like to keep in my freezer. We love the variety. Okay, so here's the chicken. There's plenty of sauce. It's just the right amount of sauce. And that's delicious. I'm not even going to taste it now. I tasted it before. It's really good. You know, the sauce was really thick before I put the chicken back in, but you know, more of the juice is cooked out of the chicken, and now our sauce is just the right thickness. We have lots of it, which my family loves the sauce. And here is orange chicken. Remember, you can do it slow cook version, which is what I did here, or you can put your pressure lid on and cook it in like 10 to 12 minutes. If you're doing thighs, I would say 15 minutes. Chicken breasts, 10 to 12 is plenty. Again, you could use frozen chicken. If the chicken was frozen, a few more minutes. If it's thawed, you know, you need less. And it's a super quick, easy weeknight meal. Okay, so I hope you really enjoy this one and come back. My goal is every Wednesday to put up a new recipe for you. So hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell. That way you'll be notified when a new recipe is published. And I look forward to seeing you next time.